The following audio is via a Skype call.
Are you ready to dream on? Do you know how to fly high and soar among the clouds? Get ready to live adventurously because the Laura Meeks Show starts now. Listen as Laura lifts you off the ground while teaching you how to fly high. Forget ground-level drama and be prepared to confront your dreams head-on as she encourages you to navigate towards your North Star and into what just might be the best life you've imagined. Dream on. Live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Dr. Pat. I get to do this show with Laura each month. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
It is. We're talking about dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. Well, you know, this is kind of cool, Laura, because I think part of this is in looking at the work that you're doing and what the message is that you're bringing to the forefront. So let's start with the conversation about how does somebody step out into the world and get in touch with what their vision is, what their dream is, and then create an entire coaching platform, speaking platform on Fly High Living. How does somebody do
How do you get there from here? Well, first you live a long and healthy life, and then you figure out. And one of the things that I like is and I've always used this with my kids. There comes a time, I think, in everybody's life when you ponder what you're going to be when you grow up. Now, typically that happens like at 5, but I want to let everybody know that there is. I don't believe that there is ever a time where you get to a spot in your life where you're not. You should always be asking that question: what am I going to be when I grow up? So I had a whole career in the Air Force as a military pilot, flew B-52 heavy bombers, 500,000 pounds of metal and gas, mainly gas, around the world. Did that, retired from the military, went into a career in business, and then when that kind of hit a natural end, then I asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And truly the answer that came to me, and I think this is an important piece of dream and dream building and Fly High Living, is that as you're answering that question or asking that question, then you get to a spot where something hits you. There, you know, if you listen to the quote still small voice inside your head, the thing that came to me is that by this time in my career, I had loved teaching. I had spent some time teaching when I was in computers in Washington, D.C., and I love helping people, and I was a psych major, so I added all of that together, plus my passion, my literal passion for flying airplanes, and pooled it all together. And I think when we looked at all of the things that have happened in my life, we came up with 3 clear pieces of my life, and I think that's what I share with our audience is that I'm a big dreamer. I've always had some really big dreams. I've tried to be very successful, and I have flown high, and I have done some adventure. I've had some adventure. So pooling all that together, that created this whole voice, this whole brand, if you will, around the idea of connecting my flying career with my personal development career to say these are analogies I think that people can understand. And obviously for me, there are things that come to my head because I've been flying a lot. So that's kind of how that happened.
You know, it's really interesting. I was talking with someone yesterday, and you and I both have coaches, and they ask the hard questions of us a lot of times. And, you know, I was speaking with one of mine, and she said to me something like this. She said, everyone has a dream of some kind. You know, some people have envisioned a life where they see themselves marrying Prince Harry. That dream's coming true this weekend. Yes. And then others have a life where there's this fine line between dreaming and creating an illusion. And, I looked at her and I basically said, the only difference that I know of between an illusion and a dream that's part of our soul is most of the times we will act on our dreams. Illusions, we keep in our own mind. And you see what I'm saying?
I would when you said dream and illusion, I'm thinking I don't think that there is a difference between dreams and illusions. I think the only difference is like you say, dreams are things that you actually take action to move towards. Illusion, and I would think that this is part of the really interesting, intriguing piece of the beginning of a change is that it starts with a dream, and I think my experience, having done a number of changes in my life, one of the things that I find is that dream is like a little spark. And it could be called an illusion in the beginning. Shelley and I were talking about this. My daughter and I were talking about this yesterday on another radio show. And you could be a young girl and dream that you're an astronaut. There's the funny thing about kids in particular, and my hope is to transfer this to adults, is to go back to your childhood and recognize that what people would call an illusion, a young girl in my day, a young woman flying an airplane or a young woman being an astronaut was an illusion. Because you couldn't do that. But truth is that women have been flying airplanes for almost ever since they started. It's not that women can't, it's just that there is the illusion, I think, comes from the paradigms that we have that we grow up with. But to go back to dreams versus illusions, dreams versus fantasies, those are, I think they're all in the same group. It's just that every once in a while you look at your fantasy and you go, I think that would be really fun.
I agree.
I think we should do that.
Yeah, but listen, here's what I love about this, and it directly relates to your body of work and what you're doing. Here's the difference. I was following Meghan Markle and the Prince of Wales.
Okay.
And this is not the first time that an American actress has married into royalty. We can go way back.
So true. You can go way back.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
That's an American dream.
But here's what I love about this. If anybody has been following it, this woman had an opportunity to, and so did he. I love this. Regardless of what the dream was before that, and both of them had the dream of finding that one, right? Finding that one. But here's what I love about it. Most people would have looked around the scenario that was happening between them early on as an illusion. They did not. And this is really the danger of having somebody use the word illusion on what you envision for their life. Because if, in fact, she would have seen illusion when that first blind date was set up, she would have never gone. And neither would he.
Totally.
She wouldn't have gone.
Well, and that leads me into a piece of dreaming that is one of the hurdles I think that we have to get past is that there are people and circumstance out there that would steal your dream. There would be dream stealers. Sometimes it's people that you absolutely love.
Yeah.
Your mother who says, "There's no girls can't be astronauts. Just forget about it. Just forget about it.
Forget about it."
Crush that little dream. So one of the things that I coach people through is that once you start taking a look at the things, you're listening to the whispers, you're hearing the fantasies, you're hearing the wishes, you're hearing. I use different terms. I like longings, things that you would like to do. Things that you're attracted emotionally to fun. I was totally attracted to flying. Everything from that balloon to B-52s. I mean, those were things. But it's very important that when you start this dreaming process, that little baby dream is a fragile little piece. And you can't just like show it to it's like you get the little frog, you show it to all your friends on the school playground, and then some kid knocks it out of your hand. It's like, man, you got to be really careful when you start down that path, because it is very easy in the early stages, I think, for people to be influenced. And it's so sad. I mean, you've been around this business for a long, long time, and you have seen many a person have an incredible dream that you were absolutely sure they had the skills and the power and the ability to do, and then they call you up and say, you know what, I talked to my husband, he said I'm crazy, and I'm just going to go back and raise the kids. It's like, oh no, don't tell me that. That is so sad.
Yeah. Well, we hear it all the time, and so do you. And, a large part of this is when we look at our dreams, and that's what you help people with in your Dream On program as well. But, you have created something that doesn't just start with a dream and help people of how to protect it, but there are stages you've created, because, dreaming is one thing, but somewhere along the way, Laura, you had to say, I love flying. I think I have to learn how to fly the plane.
Yeah.
I have to learn how to fly the plane. And this is really what we're talking about today, is that having a vision for you, a vision for your life, is the beginning point. Getting some help to hold on to that vision so tightly that you are not distracted by doubt, not distracted by fear, not distracted by anger, not distracted by lack. That's when you and we have to go get the brigade to come in and help us. Right? Yeah. Well, but isn't that what you did in the business part of what you've done too, is hold on to that?
Totally true. So I've kind of built it around my tagline, which is Dream On, Fly High, Live Adventurously. You'll see that prominently displayed everywhere you go. And that gave me the background and the format and the structure to put together a program. So Dream On is the beginning part. That's where we would sit down and take a look at the things that you would love to do, and there's a support and a structure to building a dream, and evaluating that dream, deciding if that's the thing that you really want to spend your time on. But like you said before, the difference between the illusion and the dream is the action. And so Fly High is where we take that action. That's where we go into the phase and say, okay, we've built up a vision. Typically, we would build a vision statement. I mean, we would write it out in glorious detail of everything that that is attractive to you. And it is a very personal work. A coach is a coach, not it's not the thing that I do for you. My work is to help you figure out what's inside you. So you find that dream, but very much like in the airplane, we plan out our flight. That's in essence what dreaming is that's planning the flight. We're going to go fly. We go out and check the airplane, make sure the tires are on it, that you have some gas in the airplane and you're ready to go. But eventually you want to start the engine and take off, right?
Right.
I mean, that would make sense. And sadly, there's a lot of people, as you mentioned before, that spend an inordinate amount of time in the planning phase. They're still back in the hangar, still thinking, well, I could go here and then scratch that. Maybe I'll go here. Eventually, I think what a coach helps you do is say, okay, hey, there's a lot of things that you want to do. Let's pick a couple. let's plan that flight. Let's fly one flight at a time. We don't have to go around the world the first time. We could just go to the next airport, learn how to fly the airplane. And that's really what we do. So fly high is when you put the power to it and you're going to take off, and we get airborne and you start, testing out the tools, flying left and right, climbing and descending. We learn how to go into the pattern and come back for a safe landing. And you feel like, wow, I've got the basics. That's really kind of what Dream On and Fly High get you to. And then once you get out, and in my world, in the flying world, you learn with your instructor for a while, and then we shoot you out solo. You have your first solo flight, and you go fly around. After you fly around a little bit, you're starting to feel pretty good. Now we're going to live adventurously. Now we take a look at, hey, we're in Washington, D.C. Let's fly to California. That would be cool. How long? How many trips would that take? We have to get gas here, here, and here. We got to get past the mountains and through the desert. And wow, I mean, that's kind of where the fun begins. That's where, you fly a balloon for a while, and hey, maybe I want to fly a glider for a while. Hey, maybe I'm going to fly aerobatics for a while. One of the things I absolutely love, this is going to be part of my retirement vision, is there's a guy out here in Palm Springs who has the job I really crave. And that is, he's got a blue and yellow Stearman biplane, open cockpit Stearman biplane. And his day is revolved around taking people up and flying around Palm Springs in a biplane. I think
that is very cool.
That is cool.
It really is. But you see, what you're talking about is, and what you've just laid out for everybody is, this notion of, wait a minute, you've got to start for a vision for yourself. You've got to start by saying, not that, wait a minute, I hate my life, although a lot of people walking around with that, but I really would like this. I'd like that. I'd like this other thing. And I don't know how to get there. And what I've learned, and you're right about this, there is literally only 3 of us left that started 15 years ago doing positive, holistic talk. There's 3 of us left that branched out. Rob and Brenda, our Conscious Talk, Patricia Raskin, and myself. There are the 3 of us that out of a wide range of ladies that decided to do this.
Yeah.
And what is it that has kept us doing our life's work that we love? When we come back, we're going to talk about that, because every once in a while, something will happen that looks like it might derail you. But I was looking at the interview between the pilot and the co-pilot of that Southwestern plane, and I got the answer. As she was talking about what it was they had to do in the moment of an emergency. When we come back, there's one word we're going to give you that you're going to write down. You're going to embed this in your conscious, living, breathing, waking day, because all of us, any of us that ever do anything in the outside world must have this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Tune in to the hit show Raging Skillet Radio, Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Practice living in wholeness with the body tune-up. 6 classes for $89 designed for radical self-healing and self-regeneration. Heal the deepest root of any challenge. The mental body was programmed in negativity, not good enough, separate from source. You're too much, you'll never make it. The emotional body holds all the pain and trauma of emotional suppression, all the pain from this life and lives past. The spiritual body is the place you connect with your higher power, your higher self, with the image and likeness of the One. The physical body houses and expresses the other 3 bodies every day. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com. Evolve, become a practitioner. We need to heal, integrate, and bring into wholeness and harmony the physical body, addressing all the other bodies in order to live in our true, authentic nature.
Play my favorite song, and I could tell it wouldn't be long that he was with me, yeah, me. And I could tell it wouldn't be long that he was with me, yeah, me. Singing
rock and roll.
We love rock and roll.
That's totally love rock
great
and roll.
lead in. Thank you.
Totally
nice.
love rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, I'm waiting for my girlfriend Pat Benatar to come back and make a comeback. Okay.
Hey,
Pat, come on.
You know that Pat Benatar is coming here to Rancho over Memorial Day weekend.
No.
Pat Benatar and her husband. I didn't.
Right. Well, they were in the band.
Well,
and her daughter sings now.
Oh, really? See, I didn't understand that her husband was a musician.
Oh.
So, I mean, I just knew Pat Benatar from,
right.
Pat, you hear on the radio, that was a Pat Benatar song. I don't know who's in her band or anybody.
But this is perfect. Do you know why? All right. The word.
I know it's perfect.
The word that we're going to talk about is exactly what Pat had to do. All right. Pat Benatar was opera trained. Opera.
Oh.
Like the opera. Opera trained. And so sometimes you have a dream and you're going to step out, you go out into the world, and for whatever reason, it's not turning out the way you think it should turn out. And so what do you have to do? Before the break, I mentioned the pilot of Southwestern and what I learned about it. The pilot and the co-pilot were on air. What is the one word that will save your life, save your career, and may just in fact save your self-esteem? It's called improv. You must improvise.
Improvise. Right.
What they did, those two, the pilot and the co-pilot, this fabulous Navy SEAL, by the way, what did she do?
By the way.
She and the co-pilot.
Yeah.
It was so loud, Laura, so loud. They had to use hand signals to communicate.
Well, and I would have been the perfect.
That plane.
I want you to know that I would have been the perfect candidate because in a B-52, it is so loud. We didn't have all the comfort of military airplanes are not designed like commercial airplanes. So we had the metal and then the outer skin of the airplane, and we had helmets and we could talk on intercom, but very often, very often we would have to use hand signals, like change. We had all kinds of little change the fuel. Excuse me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really fascinating. So what I want to say to everybody is, go to Laura's website. You can get there by going to flyhighliving.com, and you're going to be able to look at her coaching program, and there's much more information that's going to be shared there. Also, if you're watching on Facebook Live, Carter is making sure that you have plenty of information about how to get in touch with Laura, because one of the things that Laura has designed is a way to help you, first of all, define what it is you want to do in this world. What do you want to do? And it may be more, but it may be more of what you're doing now. It's not to say that what you're doing now isn't what you want to do. It may be more of that, right?
Totally. I when we start into that thing, and one of the things I like, I'm a real fan of Abraham Hicks, and a lot of what Abraham talks about is finding that feeling. You're looking for the feeling of joy. You're looking for the feeling of fun. You're looking for the feeling of elation and expansion. And so what I would say to somebody who's looking at their dreams is, tell me about your job. And then if you're telling me about how horrible your job is, I'm hearing contraction. That's probably not. So then let's talk about something that you might like to do in life. And then, whoa, their eyes light up. And then you go, okay, feel that. Mm-hmm. That is your compass. In my world, that's your compass to where you should be going, where source energy and where your soul wants to take you. You know where you want to go. And it's so funny because we have this discussion all the time. This is like, well, I'd like to be an astronaut, but blah, blah, blah. You get your butt in the way and they tell you all the logical reasons of why that's not going to work. But that...
Yeah, like, I want the love of my life who happens to be the Prince of Wales. Oh.
Everybody would say, are you kidding? There's no way.
Well, they did. They did. But think about it. Here you have an actress, African-American, everybody in the world already talking about how stuff ain't going to work. But, the good news is neither one of those two listen to anybody else.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I've heard a lot of, as you're looking at people who, have a large following, or they're a well-known personality or politician or something, and there is the statement of, don't read the reviews. Because why? Everybody out there is your personal expert on what you need to do. And I always find it interesting that they rarely are focusing on what they want to do, but they sure know what you should be doing and how you should do it. And again, that's part of that hurdle. That's part of navigating your dream is that's another form of dream stealing is that you're taking a look at the things that you want to do, and then all of a sudden people are convincing you, and sometimes just the self-doubt of and I'll use an example. I started drumming a couple of years ago. I have always wanted to be in rock and roll. So the lead-in was really good. I always wanted to be in rock and roll. I tried guitar, tried piano. It didn't work. But all of a sudden, I went to a drum circle, which led me into playing actual set drums. And what I found is that, there were a lot of people that were very clear that I will not be in a rock and roll band at my age. And I am very clear back to them that that's just BS. Because Paul McCartney is a lot older than me, and he's still in a rock and roll band.
Right. So Pat Benatar, you just mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got to be a couple years older than me, right?
Well, but the point is this. And this is what we're talking about today. we're talking about, the dream for your business, the dream about business and dreaming, the dream for your career, the dream for your life, the dream for your joy. You see, somewhere along the way, we decided two things. One, that we didn't deserve to have a life of joy, and that's a myth. Now that's an illusion. Or we decided that somehow we have to be extraordinary. We had to be extraordinary in order to have things show up in our lives. So we decide we're going to forget our dreams. We're going to forget our dreams. In response to my coach and having a conversation with my coach, and this was really extended beyond like my business, it extended into relationships in my life. My response back is, so what I hear you say is, so long as I'm keeping my illusion to myself and conjuring up a fantasy about how the world or how something's going to change, and I'm not really checking it out in the outside world, it stays in the world of mythology. It stays to be a myth. So the good news is that even if you don't know how to move forward on your dream, on whatever you want to call it, your fantasy, your idea, I love the word vision, sometimes we have to get some help to help us along the way. And the point, though, is this, isn't it? And this is what you're going to talk about. Whatever it is, we have to take positive action to move it forward.
Definitely positive action. And I would wholeheartedly agree that I have a coach, you have a coach. It is, I believe, a key piece to really moving forward, because part of what coaching does is coaching provides you accountability. How many millions of self-help books have we all read? I mean, Think and Grow Rich, everybody's read that, and guess what? Not everybody's rich. It's like, why did that not work? Well, part of that is the information is there, it works. Bob Proctor, who I love, hinges his whole business just around that one book. But so the information is there, it works. But the challenge for humans is that we live in a world. And the world does not stop. I would love it if we could just like go on a 3-week cruise, stop everything, just concentrate on our life and pop off the boat and start down our new life. But we have kids, we have jobs, we have Facebook, 60 tweets I got to answer. So all of that stuff is rolling around as you're doing this. So part of what coaching gives you is that accountability to say, hey, and you and I have had by next Tuesday, what can we do by next Tuesday? And it's like, okay, I think I can do this, I can do that. Okay, can't do that. Okay, great. And then we set it on the calendar and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And it's no different, I don't think. Brendan Bouchard talked about, I listened to a podcast of his recently, and he was talking about the fact that part of this dream building, flying high, and living adventurously, part of that and following your dream is not only taking action, but you have to there's a need for necessity. You have to think about and craft up why that's so important to do. And part of coaching is to talk about that. People all the time, I would love to have a tall, dark, handsome mate. Great, So why? What is that? Are we gonna work towards that? It's like, well, no, I just been thinking about it. Yeah. It's like, well, I like thinking about it, but that's where you're kind of in the fantasy land. And there is nothing wrong with that if that's okay with you. But
I think part of what you're talking about too is, there are fears, there are inhibitions that come up. And, you and I have talked about, what are some of the attributes that successful people have? One of them that I want to point to, and I know you've mentioned this before, is that, the people that I know that are getting on air, they have been in the failure column, as we like to call it in society. Now, in the whole New Age movement, we don't like to say the word failure. I get really a lot of emails, the fact that it's in my tagline. But here's what I've learned. When you talk to like a Canfield, he will tell you that his manuscript was rejected 167 times or some ridiculous amount. And yet, even though that happens, right, we have to know how to pick ourselves up and don't look at it as a game changer and a showstopper. And I think you've talked about Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey's graduation speech as well. Sometimes we get something in life we didn't expect. Next.
Absolutely. I loved if anybody who's listening, if you have not heard the Jim Carrey graduation speech, it is going to go down in the annals of history as being one of the great speeches involving this kind of change in your life. One of the things that I took out of that, and let me just kind of address part of what you're saying here too as well, is that part of what coaching gives a person is that encouragement, because as you're pointing out, this and I think the movie The Secret kind of led people astray in the land of law of attraction, that, hey, all you got to do is like say this, I'm going to be rich, and then you sit on your couch and the Maserati shows up and the check for the $1 million shows up.
Right out there.
It's like, wait, let me go check.
It's just right there. Hold on.
And Jim Carrey was very clear in a number of interviews that he carried his check up to the top of Mulholland Drive, $10 million. He wrote a check to himself. If you haven't heard this, he wrote a check to himself and went up to Mulholland Drive every night. Every night. That's not like, hey, I just, on Thursday, I thought I'm going to be a millionaire. I said it twice. I just don't understand why it didn't show up. No, it takes time and it takes work and it takes some effort. And kind of where I would go with that is yes, it does take positive effort. And part of what coaching involves is encouraging and helping you stay the course and kind of every once in a while lifting you up and over some of these hurdles until you learn how to jump over those hurdles yourself. So the value, not only in accountability, but encouragement to get past, because we are on Earth. This is an incredible place, but it's not without some challenges. And everything that you're going to go towards is going to take effort. And so let me tie that into Jim Carrey's thing. One of the things that Jim Carrey talked about is, what are you going to focus on? And he tells the story of his father, who actually wanted to be a comedian and had a passion for it, but a dream stealer came by and said, no, you got to get, I'd like to punch people when they say,
real job.
Get a real job. Get into the real.
They're still telling me that, Laura.
Yeah. So here's kind of for me, the thing that's different. Jim Carrey points out that his father did get a real job as an accountant. And his thinking was, the common thinking is if you get a real job, you'll have security and you'll have a paycheck and you'll have a long-term job. And it turns out that he did go into accounting and he got fired and ended up in the same place he would have even if he'd gone and done something that he was passionate about. So in my life, we don't know how long we're going to be here. At least I haven't seen anybody that can document it. So my feeling is and this was kind of what Jim Carrey was saying is that you can fail at what you don't like. So why not try and succeed or fail in something that you do like?
I love that. Yeah. And I want to hold that thought and talk about that when we come back. because that actually leads us to talking about how do we go from that place to really keeping our eye on flying high and living adventurously. Keep our eye on that, because that drive up to Mulholland Drive, he didn't do that because he had nothing better to do. That was a way for him to get into the energy frequency of what that vision coming to life would feel like. When we come back, Laura's going to talk with us on all of this and how it leads to Fly High Living, which is her following exactly what she now helps people with in her coaching program to become the author of this, international coach, radio host, and somebody that knows how to get it done. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
He said, let's get out of this town, drive out of the city, away from the crowds. I thought heaven can't help me now, nothing lasts forever. But this is gonna take me down. He's so tall and handsome as...
Love Living Radio Ignite Your Whole Being with Emily Perkins is a show for those looking to explore the sparkling magnificence of their inner selves. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific as Emily sheds a radiant light of love on the beauty and power that resides within you. Discussing love in all its forms through conversations that provoke awareness, curiosity, and expansion, Emily shares the unlimited power of love. For more information or to listen to this show, visit lovelivingholistics.com.
To find answers to life's questions, you need to look within yourself. Dr. Glenna Rice brings your questionable conversations on Transformation Talk Radio each month. Tune in each month for insight into how you can live up to your full potential. Dr. Glenna is a physical therapist, certified Access Consciousness, and Access Body Class Facilitator. How does it get any better than this? For more information on Dr. Glenna Rice and her work, visit glennarice.com.
Learn how to be you in today's world on New Soul Radio. Follow host Ruby Betty each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she introduces new rules for new souls in these new times. As a powerful spiritual thought leader, modern mystic, and clairsentient, Ruby Betty is propelled toward a single goal: to awaken human beings to their fullest potential. For more information on Ruby and her work, visit rubybetty.co.
Are you ready to tap into the healer within? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the real doctor is the source that lives within you, that heals within you minute by minute every day? The healer within is the innate intelligence of the human body. When we cut our hand with a piece of glass, we don't have to command the body to close the wound and grow new skin. It knows how to heal itself. We do have to nourish the skin by disinfecting it and remove the glass, or it cannot heal. The innate healer relies upon us to assist in this healing process. Our role is to identify its needs, provide the substances required for the healing, and remove the obstacle. Contact us to achieve optimal health at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just in your...
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. And, guess what? Laura Meeks is in the house. And, for those of you out there, please just go to flyhighliving.com and you're going to be able to find out a ton about Laura, about her coaching program. But more importantly, there are many of you that may be listening to the show right now or watching it on Facebook Live, and you want to get a hold of Laura right away. Laura, the best way to do that is, you going to sing?
I'm saying call now.
Oh,
the operator's saying, by far and away, the best way to get a hold of me is to call me in my office. I happen to be here right behind the balloons. The telephone number, if you want to call me, 888-666-1570. So I try to make it as easy as possible. 888-666-1570. Operators are standing by. We're waiting for the ring.
That's funny. But part of this too is looking at, I want an end game in mind. So let's talk about how this all leads to and connects us to Fly High Living, because most people do want an end game.
I agree, and I think that the way that the end game is achieved is that you get yourself involved in some version of a structured coaching program, so that you can take the dreams. Remember those little whispers, those little baby dreams that you're holding and trying to keep the dream stealers from getting. If you engage a coach, then the value is that we can protect that together. We can grow it until it's strong. We can get the tools. So by far and away, one of the things that I found in my growth, my very first career in the Air Force, I went down that dream path without any tools, without any coach, without anything.
I know.
It is hard. I had to tell you, from 15 to, I think I was 28 when I graduated from pilot training. That was a long, strong road. And I'm not saying that I never had a few people that came by and helped mentor me, but I think the value of a coaching program and a structured coaching program. My coaching program is packed into a 3-month program, 12 weeks, where we cover certain things every week, so that you have the tools that you can use. Once you go through the first 3-month course, then you have all the tools technically that you would need to manifest any other dream that you have. Now, again, time is one of the things that coaching helps accelerate, because we can help focus and shape and guard and lift you over some of the hurdles. We know where the hurdles are. There's no one that's in personal development, at least at my age, that hasn't experienced all of this.
Exactly.
and learned that. To do that. So, to me, the value of the coaching package is you get support, you get accountability, you get a chance to talk to me. That's the value. And I would tell anybody that is on the verge of making the decision to call me. I am pretty easy to talk to, I think. And if you have anything to do with flying planes, we can talk for hours and hours.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the best thing to do is just to call and ask questions and see what it's about and figure out, because in essence, if you call me, you get a couple $100 worth of value, because I will probably sit on the phone for 30, 40, 50 minutes free to kind of coach you, to find out where you are, what you're doing, where you want to go, how you can get there. And it'd be great if you did it with me. I think I have a lot of value. One of the other things that I do know, though, is that there is a personality connection. And I do think that the value of listening to this show and being here today is that you're getting a feel for the kind of things that I've done and the how I would attack it, how I would say it. And once you feel that connection, then you take the next step. Call.
Well, I love what you're talking about too, because part of this is I've worked with a number of people along the way, and I remember one person was recommended. He's the best. You got to work with him. He's the best in the business, the best in radio. He's going to show you. And I worked with him for about maybe 3 days. And I was like, you may be the best, but wow, you are so at a different place with what we want to achieve with this show. And I said, you're great at what you do. You're just not going to be able to do it for me. And what he wanted me to do is he thought I was too nice. He wanted me to bring people on that I didn't like. And then I would argue with them. And I thought, there's plenty of radio out there that does that. And sometimes, though, you have to get clear. You have to get some help so that you can remember to be true to yourself. And that's what Fly High Living does.
That is what Fly High, and again, dream on, fly high, live adventurously. In my experience, this planet is the best planet I've been on. And there's a lot of opportunities here. And I by far and away, my mission statement deals with the fact that I really, really, really believe in my heart that every person here has a special gift to bring to the world. And my hope is that I can help you figure out what that gift is and give it. And you had mentioned before that, there are some people that think, okay, this whole coaching idea and living a fly high life is for, the elite of the elite. And there are people out there. Brendan Bouchard is one who deals very, very specifically with only the top, highest end achievers. That's not my mission. My mission is to help everyone, young or old, male or female, gay or straight, however you are, to find that gift inside you and fan the flames. The book, I'll bring this up. I have.
Let's talk about that. Laura actually has written a book called Dream On. And, I forgot to mention that. But, part of the book and writing the book was also part of you enacting your own vision.
Yeah. And part of the reason I bring that up is because the title is Dream On, Timeless Strategies to Reignite Your Passion for Life. Because I have a passion for living. Sometimes we all go through this. You're beat down into the swamp, but I always get out of that swamp because I have been flying high, literally, figuratively, mentally. I have seen what it feels like to really be able to deliver a gift to help other people and to make help them fly high, to be in that balloon behind me, floating up in the air.
Well, who doesn't want to be? I mean, who doesn't really want to have that next place in their life where they can experience more joy, more abundance, better health, connections with people, juicy relationships, whatever that is.
Yeah.
We want to go through our day and do what we need to do, at least in this country, do what we need to do, pay our bills, and then make sure we don't lose sight that part of showing up in our existence in this earth skin is also to experience joy.
Yeah,
and
absolute,
that's the part
absolute
we need help
joy.
with.
And and I think that to me is where hope and fulfillment and everything comes out, is once you get a taste of what joy can be. And during the break, you and I were talking about the fact that there are people that have achieved, Jim Carrey achieved way up here and then went on to the next higher level. And and I would say that coaching is for anybody who just wants to take the next step. You might feel like you're on step 1 and you want to go to step 2. I'm in. Let's do it. If you're at step 10, you want to go to 11 or 12. Great. Let's do it. If you're at 100, want to go to 101. Great. Let's do it. That's what this is about. Taking that next step. That's where we want
Laura,
to go.
what a great show. Thank you today. And we're going to be doing more of this. One last question.
Sure.
What's your personal message? What would you like to leave all of us with today?
Well, and I'm going to go back to my best message, is that each person, every one of you, has a personal gift, a unique gift that only you can bring to this world. And I'd say let's find that and deliver that. That's your purpose here.
Awesome. Laura Meeks, everybody. Go to flyhighliving.com. I'm Dr. Pat. We're going to take a shorty. I'm not done yet.
You're not
be
done
right
yet.
Back. No, I got more juicy loving what I do stuff coming.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Laura. Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Pat.
You've been listening to The Laura Meeks Show. Dream on, fly high, live adventurously on Transformation Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in. And we hope you'll join us next month as Laura helps you find your unique gifts so you can bring them to the world. For more information on Laura Meeks or to listen to past shows, visit her website at flyhighliving.com. Check out her hit Dream On 12-week course where you get the personal attention you need to fly high in your new life.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.